As lifelong proponents of Star Wars, we enjoy highlighting and studying the good stories in that universe. Today we will be once again returning to the brilliant show Andor. Spoiler warning for the show, if you have not seen it, we highly recommend it, especially if you enjoy quality TV. We will be analyzing the interrogation scene between Dedra Meero and Orson Krenik. Dedra awaits her fate in the interrogation room below the ISB, steeling herself for whatever may come. However, she's thinking that she's going to be dealing with one of her own, perhaps Partagaz or one of the other ISB agents. She wasn't expecting one of the highest ranking members of the Empire to walk in, so when Orson Krenik silently walked in, her resolve was shaken.
Who else knows?
At this point, Dedra is so consumed with catching Luthen that she can't put together why Krennic would be here for her. Her knowledge is thrown into darkness when he asks who else knows. This was not the question she was expecting. Because Krennic has come in with information that she doesn't know, this is how you create scenes with intelligent characters. You never give them the whole puzzle. You give them parts and allow their intellect to fill in the rest. There is no playing dumb here. Krenik simply won't allow it.
Now just take a moment. What single thing would drag me to this forsaken basement?
He wants to know who else knows about the Death Star. However, Dedra is still of the mindset that Luthen is important. What she doesn't know is that Luthen is dead, and that Krenik doesn't care about Supervisor Young. He wants to know who knows about the Death Star. The one thing that the Emperor himself is counting on. Krenik can feel the walls closing in just as the Death Star is almost operational. So he didn't come here to find out about Young's death. He wants to know who knows about the Death Star. So when she finally says the words Death Star, Krenik can know for sure that she is who he thinks she is, a scavenger. He asks again who else knows, but doesn't like his answer because he already knows that Partagaz knows about the Death Star. Krenik cares about the names he doesn't know.
Who else knows?
Partagaz.
No, I want the names I don't know.
This is absurd.
Resistance is absurd.
I am not a rebel spy.
When she says that this is absurd, Krenik tells her that being a rebel is absurd. She tries to deny it, but why else would she poke around in files that she has no reason to? She thinks that they are here to work together. However, Krenik isn't working with her. He's interrogating her. But her hubris blocks that possibility from her mind. She still thinks that she is a part of the machine, but she'll quickly find out that she's being grinded up by the machine. And when Krenik asks about her giving Young her code cert, she's appalled. This revelation is exactly that, a revelation of information that she had no clue about, making her seem even more guilty. Because how could she not know that her clearance was being used?
Young. My clearances, never. Why would I do
I
that?
don't have time for why. Your motivations are far less pressing than the extent of your betrayal.
If Young had my cert, then he stole it.
Krenik calls her out, saying that they found 2 years worth of data related to the Death Star in her files. This is something that she cannot ignore. It was a mistake that someone made to send her that information, but the fact that she kept it for her own use makes her guilty. Every time she tries to make it seem like she only did what everyone else in her position would do, Krenik turns that against her, always being ready with an accusation. And when someone as hard-headed as her gets accused of something, instead of trying to climb out of the hole, she just digs a little deeper. Not only was she grasping at anything that would give her an advantage, she was also unfortunate enough to be the target of Lana Young's infiltration of the ISB. She claims that she was searching for Axis. However, what she failed to realize was how guilty her search would look to someone like Krenik.
In classic fashion, your team tortured him to death, and that crucial piece of information, rather than being directed my way, was buried and became something I had to scavenge
How
for.
terribly perplexing.
She tries again by telling Krenik about a situation where she found information about Luthen from a report that didn't make its way to her initially. Even though she shows real intellect, Krenik constantly finds a way to use her intellect against her. She tries to help Krenik by telling him about Clea and how integral she is to Luthen's operation, but she makes a mistake in her wording. She still hasn't realized the new truth in her world. She says that we need agents at every transit point, but she's no longer useful to the Empire. That's why she's here in this basement, because the Empire feels that it can no longer trust her, and therefore she's a threat.
She needs to be found. We need agents at every transit point we can cover.
We'll do our best to carry on without you.
So Krenik bursts her bubble and finally spells out the situation for her. She's no longer of use to the Empire, so she's being thrown away. And that is one of the many scenes that makes Andor the best thing in Star Wars. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Supervisor Jung spent 3 hours last night logged into your account. Now, shall we take a guess at what he might have told Loose and Rail?